Mr. Yuvraj Mehta. Today we have with us an extraordinary leader in the world of communications and award-winning communication strategist, founder and CEO of Strategize Consulting, and a media expert with 25 years of experience shaping reputation and narrative for some of India's leading organizations like L&T, Reliance, Samsung, and GMR. So, a warm welcome to the visionary communicator and thought leader, Mr. Yuvraj Mehta. Thank you for joining us today. And
Thank you, Ritika. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to judge this 30 under 30 for AFM.
yeah,
So thanks for that. And before we start the discussion interaction, I normally like to read what are the new young generations are doing it. That keeps me updated from the real world, even though after so many of years of experience, to be relevant and to compete with them and to understand how they think, it's very important for people like us to be aligned with them. So thank you, Ritika, and thank you, E4M.
so I think your journey and your insight today will be very useful to the young generation and the professionals entering the industry today. So we'll begin from the start. And can you tell us how did you first step into the communications world?
So there are two aspects of how I entered into that. One aspect was that since childhood, there are certain elements which I realized later on that was there with me. So I was doing lots of events unknowingly, participating in lots of shows, helping my seniors, and those are all local mohalla pujas and things like that. I also used to write a lot, contribute a lot in various medias unknowingly, from college journals to PTI. So what happens is initially, then I realized that that is my, area of interest. So that is the first thing that I realized when I did my MBA with marketing. But PR and corporate communication was not that matured subject during early 90s when I was entering into this world. So people were only talking about marketing and advertising. So I entered into a small period of I tried to learn advertising through in certain advertising agency. So it's all tips and bits and pieces that I learned. Later on, I also started writing for PTI and various other magazines and things like that. Those are all pure part of my interest. And slowly, when seeing that, the journey of transformation from advertising to communication and corporate. In fact, my first job was Rasgas as an official professional where I was handling the corporate communication. So it was basically from advertising that slowly I started shifting towards that because I realized that lot more stories can be told, lot more narratives can be, framed if you get into the
Yeah.
larger forum of PR. So this is how we started the
Yes.
journey 25 years back.
Great. So you started your journey 25 years ago, and since then the industry has transformed in a lot of ways. So what are the some of the biggest transformation you have observed so far?
Okay. So first thing is like earlier there was a too much of emphasis when I started the journey was on understanding the journalist, understanding the media, and media relation was the core of PR per se.
Yes.
So from there, what I saw in last 25 years is there is a huge shift from media management to reputation management, and that is a drastically change where definitely media plays a role, but then beyond media, there are various other stakeholders that started putting out their voices. The media has become more democratized because of social media and technologies.
Yeah.
We also have seen a lot more data driven and digitally driven communication entering into this field. Uh, the biggest threat which we have been saying is that disinformation because of this technology and the fake thing that is entering in a big way and the speed at which it spreads. And earlier, I also used to see brand which has a purpose, which has a vision, although they still have that, but brand activism has also taken it into a various form. So basically, reputation management transformation, digital communication transformation, technology adaptations, brand activism that has came into the place. And last, which is very important, is beyond human as a stakeholder. I also see machine as a stakeholder where you see algorithms and meta tags entering. So as a communication, we also have to understand how do we communicate through them, which is at a very, very initial stage, but that is a very important stage going forward.
Yes. Also, like since we are living in the advent of AI, how do you see technology evolving the industry?
So technology, both from the speed as well as from the accuracy, it's moving very fast and entering into the domain faster than most of the Corpcom and most of the corporates are able to adopt that. And that is one of the biggest challenge that industry is right now facing, because communication as an industry has always been treated like a stepson. Marketing communication, although has evolved much better, so I would always appreciate the marketing guys doing their job better than the corporate communication guys. We somehow has not been able to uh, uh, put this in the mind of the CEOs and the boardrooms that why communication is so important for a brand. Uh, so
Yeah.
yes, that's the biggest challenge that we are right now facing, and we have to adopt it.
Okay, so after a successful stint with so many leading organizations, you left your corporate life in 2022 and entered the like entrepreneur world in 2023 by founding Strategize Consulting. So, what inspired this transition?
So during the last 25 years, what I observed during my stint with either Reliance, Anil Ambani Group, or Samsung, or L&T and GMR as a group, and L&T, the last one where I was the heading the conglomerate,
Yeah.
I realized there is a gap. One, the market is expanding very fast in the field of crisis because there is a
Yes.
huge crisis that every company is facing, and mostly mid-sized companies are not prepared for that. Then there is a preparedness of the industry was not in place. That means you have PR agency, you have social media agencies in place. They are all mature. But if you really ask in India, do you have any reputation management, integrated sustainable communication management? You don't have any. So some PR agency has opened that branch, or social media agencies have opened a branch, but that is not what corporate is looking for. So one, there is a huge amount of crisis that is now coming up. There is a huge amount of technologies that has gone up, and there is hardly any India's own homegrown company which can say, okay, I understand this company, I understand the country, I understand the dynamics, and I can provide the solution, not just the PR solution or the social media solution. I was also on the board of many companies when the merger acquisitions, IPOs, and things used to happen in L&T, in GMR. So the biggest thing I saw is that the board is not fully aware about the importance of corporate communication, reputation management. So that is why you don't see, Ritika, too many corporate communication heading into the part of the boards. Whereas in multinational companies, you find more. So there was a huge gap I found. The market was exponentially growing very fast. And most of my mentors with whom I worked, like Mr. GM Rao, Mr. AM Naik, they all encouraged me that there is a market that we should look into that. And then I started my entrepreneurial journey because there is an opportunity.
Amazing start, sir. So, since Strategize Consulting is India's first agency focused on strategic sustainable communication, so how do you define like strategic sustainable communication first, like, and how do you leverage that in like in your services and to benefit your stakeholders?
Okay. So it is, I will just like to rephrase the sentence which you said, Ritika.
Yeah,
So Stratrise Consulting is India's only, probably only company which
only.
gives the integrated sustainable solution in the field of reputation management and crisis communication. And when we say sustainable integrated solution to build your reputation, to protect you from the crisis that's either happening or going to happen, and to ensure that it's not limited to number of followers you gain or number of trolls you are able to silence or number of coverages you got, but whether you have been able to achieve your business. So our focus is purely on the outcome. So recently we have worked with a company who it's a pharmaceutical company who, because of one big news from BBC, the company was shut down by the government because of certain issues. We undertook that assignments, and we not only ensured that we neutralize the media first and then build up the positive. We also manage the trolls on the social media and also train the boards what to say, what not to say. But we also ensured that when they were talking to their legal department, when they are talking to their HR department, to ensure that the communications are in sync, the narratives frameworks are in place, and ultimately last month their factory got opened. So my idea, so this business is basically to see that not to give you multiple coverages or the likes and followers, it is to see that your business sustains to the next generation and the next generation. Now coming to that name. So if you really, I need to tell you there are few things that's very important. One is that we need to build authenticity when we communicate. That means the trust, which is very important in the reputation. And in this social media world, the trust is the one of the most important thing which we lose immediately. We also ensure that how consistency you can communicate with various stakeholders you engage, and whether you are a purpose driven or not, whether there is a value system which you stand for is just for the boardroom or it also translates. So we align everything into the communication to see that the companies achieves its outcome.
Great. So, given your vast years of experience in driving campaigns across India and globally, what are the key ingredients that make a campaign truly global impact, according to you?
Uh, Now, there are many elements that goes into that, but I will just try to frame it in few words for the audience.
Yes.
One is definitely that narrative framework should be universal, but it should be consistent and aligned with the locals. For example, when we were doing this L&T, LTI Mindtree merger, and L&T
Yes.
was acquiring Mindtree, there was a huge amount of pre-acquisition hostile takeover narratives that has being framed to see that this transition doesn't happen, this M&A doesn't happen. In fact, I have written a case study along with IIM Ahmedabad, and now it's part of a Harvard Business also. So we ensure that the language, the narrative framework is not hostile, but it's in the benefit of the stakeholders. So that means there is a profit and growth in the narrative. It's not something that we are going to acquire some small company Mindtree and throw the people out. So that means there are certain words like pyar se, dil se, with emotions. We also ensured that sensitivity of the other companies are in place. For example, when we were acquiring those people, they were really afraid of what is going to happen. So we ensured that communication talks to them about the larger canvas of Mindtree when they come to L&T, how they're going to, inter-department. Because if you see L&T as a company, there are very few
Yes.
company who has defense department, who has construction department, who has aviation departments, oil gas department. So if I'm an engineer and I got bored of certain vertical of let's say IT, I can definitely shift within that canvas of L&T. So
Yes.
people then started trusting us, believing us. The other important thing for a communication is the multi-channel. So it's not only media, it's not only social media, it's also your internal communication advocacy, which is very important nowadays. Then we also aligned with road shows, town halls, and everything. We also aligned with multi-stakeholder communication, where governments, bureaucrats, employees, vendor partners, big vendors like Microsoft and everybody's were properly and consistently and uniformly communicated. And the biggest challenge which we all face while making these narratives is getting the buy-ins of the leadership team. Most of the communication faces that problem because because I was a part of that board. So you have lawyers from the various big legal firms, you have HR people, you have CEOs, you have chairmen. So as a communication, you have multidisciplinary people and heads sitting there, and they all are not aligned with your communication vision. So aligning them, and the last and the most important thing is keeping yourself updated by monitoring and regularly giving the feedback and keep on changing because those are very dynamic things. So these are the seven things that's very important when you get into the universal driving campaign.
So, like you mentioned, there's a long list of hierarchy when it comes to approving a campaign or going forward with it. So, you also are a great mentor in the industry. You mentor startup leaders, boardroom dynamics, IPO communications. So, while mentoring, would you like to share any memorable stories from your mentorship initiatives?
There are two, three companies. Although these mentorships, I'll just give you some examples while I was working with company. So, for
Yeah.
example, L&T Mindtree, I already told you, as a part of merger acquisitions, where we not only trained and mentored the CEOs, we also coached them and educated them what to say, when to say, what not to say. Similarly, when L&T launched its two brand, which is Sufin, which is like a e-com platform, we ensured that because Sufin was launched with an idea of L&T getting into a startup mode, and so getting the brief properly, what is the objective of that, and training the whole team, which is coming on a new team that's coming, aligning them with the communications long-term strategy, because most of the startups I found have a very short-term strategy. Okay, they want to increase their sale, they want to add communication, they want to issue a press release, they want to see multiple coverages. This doesn't happen. Most of the way we have wrongly trained our seniors and mentors. So short-term gain to long-term strategy, aligning that is one part of the board mentorship, which is very important. Alignment, I have already spoken a lot, where you have multiple peoples whose awareness level about communication is not there. Regularly coaching and training and educating them on communication are very important. Then linking the outcome with their strategy and communication is extremely important. So
Yeah.
normally when I do the mentorship, I always ask them, what is your long-term vision? Uh, let's say even if it is 1 year vision, what is your vision? If you want to increase your sales by, let's say, delta 5% sales increase or revenue increase or hiring new talent, you know, then the whole strategy comes into that. Okay, to increase this 5% sales, what are the communication that you need to do? What are the team you need, resource you need to allocate? So this alignment is very important when it comes to the mentorship. Definitely, I would like to take more mentorships, but because of the paucity of time, I don't get. But trust me, this MSME segment, which I am talking to the government, I have been telling them that the 500 crore, 1,000 crore people turnover companies are very, very important for this mentorship. And hopefully, maybe with E4M, we will be able to do some more mentorship
Yes,
with the people.
definitely, sir. Yes. So, moving ahead, uh, like since you are in you have been in industry for a very long time, and crisis management and crisis and reputation management is a core part of your work. So, how do you define these two fields of area today, and how can professionals get better in this area of work?
First of all, the companies should realize that they will face a problem. Most of the companies seems they stay in their own cocoon, that they will never face a problem. If they face a problem, they
Yeah.
have a legal team, they have a HR team. Most of the communication, Ritika, I will give you one example and maybe one small test which any
Yes.
viewers can also. You see, whenever the
Yes.
crisis hits you, majority of the company either put their legal people in the front to face the media, put the finance people in the face the media. Where is the corporate communication guys? They
Exactly.
are the guy who should be facing the media along with the other spokesperson. Majority of the company makes the mistake of putting legal, threatening them. No, so first thing is, realize that you are in a world where the way you are putting your fire safety plan in place, your other crisis plan in place, please put a media crisis plan in place. Do the crisis audits properly. You check anybody, nobody does the crisis audit
Yes.
in communication. So that is number one. Number two is like be prepared for disinformation. That means there are people outside there who will definitely, because of their vested interest, because of their vested interest, they will spread disinformation about you. How are you going to tackle that? When with the use of this deep fakes and all the other things, are you ready? Your technologies is ready. Do you have 24 into 7 monitoring system? Third is to build the brand. Please align all your departments. So, because today you have moved from brand management to reputation management, those days of early brand managements are gone. So, when I say reputation management, that means the trust management, and that means your finance departments, your HR departments, your legal department, all should be aligned with the corporate communication department. Along with the corporate communication department, it should be aligned. So there are many companies where I have worked or I have audited, their internal communication alignment is not in place. When crisis happens, everybody runs, or when they have a plan for next 5 years, they don't know what to do. So also internally align the communication with your overall business plan.
So, throughout your journey, you must have faced so many crises. Can you share any example? How did you turn the challenge into an opportunity for the organization, or how did you your strategy created an impact for them? Any
There are
example would you
many.
like to share?
There are many. One I recently told you the name I cannot give you because of that pharmaceutical company which is now
Yeah.
operational. But let's say LTI Mind acquisition, where the crisis was that hostile takeover, where the erstwhile Mindtree promoters didn't want to sell the company, and they created all type of hurdles in the market, and from the hostile takeover to a company that is going to grow and make profit, the whole perception management. Now that is again, I will tell people to read that case study which is there. It is almost 16, 18 page case studies with every details gone into that. So that is one example where the whole perception got changed, and now the company, when it was being taken, or when we were acquiring Mindtree, I think the market price, one of the parameter was the shareholders valuation. You see today's LTI Mindtree's share price, and when it was acquired at a price of 875, I think it is now 3,000 or 4,000. So there is a huge amount of value growth. There is a huge amount of business growth. Now the company is among the top 5 companies. So as a communication, my job was to ensure and protect the reputation, change the perception, give comfort to the board as well as stakeholders, and ensure no negativity is there. So this is one classic examples. We have done many from Reliance, Anil Ambani, Mukesh Ambani fight. So someday we will have crisis. We will talk about that. But these are so most of the crisis you can create an opportunity and convert that into a next level of growth perception, provided you plan it and you have a great resource and team and the leader at the top who stands by you. So I only was able to do that because my chairman and CEO stood by me. They trusted me.
Yes, that's very true. The support is very important in
Very.
going forward with anything. Okay. So, lastly, sir, what advice would you pass on to the next generation of professionals who are looking to make a mark in the ever evolving world of communications?
So I think first is that in this era of digital communications and so much of digital information and misinformation, the things that's only going to come out is you have to be human. So first thing I will tell them is be human. Develop your human qualities first. So social qualities, governance qualities, ethical qualities. Be your moral values should be high. That is number one. And along with that, do a lots of networking with the people. Whether if your stakeholder is journalist, then please meet. And means I'm old school of thoughts. I still go and meet people. I know the new gen doesn't go and meet people. They just tweets and they send wrong press release to the wrong journalist. And you can see on the social media that PR versus journalists are going on. I always
Yes.
believe this is very easy with today's chat GPT. Just write it down who is writing what. So do a strong network, be human. Uh, One of the big lessons that my previous chairman, Mr. A. M. I gave me is that Yuvraj, expand your networking beyond your business hours. Go meet them. So all your stakeholders, please meet them. They are human beings. So that is number one. Stay human. Second is you should be too curious to understand what's happening. You should be too dedicated because this subject is no more just related to PR or 5 posts or 10 engagements. So please read, research, and do your homework properly before either you meet your internal stakeholders or you meet your external stakeholders, because each one looks at you as a knowledge center. When I was
Yes.
working with the Reliance, uh, our chairman told me, Yuvraj, when you go to media, prepare not only about Reliance Infra, which I was heading, also have some information about RCOM, also have some information about Reliance Cements, Reliance Capitals, because the journalist may ask you a few things and you should not look like. So those are certain
Yeah.
things which is there in my mind. So please be curious, keep read, research. And third thing is upskill and unskill. Something you have learned which may not work today, please enhance your external and internal skill.
Great, sir. So, what are your future plans for yourself and Strategize Consulting in the coming years?
My future plan is basically to see that the Prime Minister has already announced that, and I'm very happy about that. That when I started the business, within a 1 year, Prime Minister said that India's own homegrown consultancy should be promoted. So, for a company, my plan is definitely to take it to the next level and stand by at least the mid-size MSME companies and mid to upper range companies, and give them the support, because I personally have handled crisis from media to everything. So make them grow, number one. And on my personal front, as an industry, I always feel very bad for that we as a communication guys have not yet been recognized properly on the corporate boards where we failed. Um,
Yeah.
we provide the cheapest solution by giving the editorial coverages, whereas other my co-partners put advertisings and multi-billion dollars, still they get respect,
Marketing.
because
Yes.
I don't want to say that because they are my friends. So
Yes.
why have we failed? When we
Yes.
build the brand, when we work with so many stakeholders, we are the cheapest and sabse sasta, what we call it. But still, when you go for a board approval and yearly, appraisals or increment or budget hike, the CEO's chairman looks, the way they look at it is like, I have faced that. And I keep telling in my board, please, everybody do your own PR properly, the department's PR. So mentorship, uh, guiding the industry, helping the industry is my next personal focus. Making my company grow and putting it to the level of uh, McKinsey of communication from India is my communications. I love to talk about my failures. I love to talk about, because
Yeah.
I when I met with GM Rao, he has failed X number of times. He told me. When I worked with so many companies, they talk about the failures. When I met with Vedanta chairman, he talked about, and he told me, Yuvraj, you will still fail many more times. Don't worry. So first and foremost thing, because today people fear to fail.
I think
Don't fear.
failures is what makes us human, more human.
Huh. Huh. And if anybody wants to talk after failure, please tell them to call me, because your society doesn't allow you to fail because everything is
Yes.
perfect society. I learned everything from the failure, trust me, and it's such a great lesson.
Yes.
So all the top people I meet, they always say. So this is one thing you should always put it in a very bold, that not afraid of failure. I have went to Jain Irrigation's Jalgaon, their office. The first thing in their exhibition, they have a museum. So when you enter, the founder's 40 failures are the first thing that you see. First time I saw that, okay, founder has written that he has failed 40 times. So yeah.
Okay. Last question, sir. Other than your managing your company and working on the communication and prices and reputation, what are your other passions or hobbies?
My passion is to like honestly, I'm telling you, my passion is to see that one state which is lacking, which is Bihar. I'm a Bihari. And
Okay.
if I can do something for the people of Bihar who has been there, because there are two types of Bihari, I feel. One Bihari who has came out and become Vedantas of the world and Yuvraj Mehta or somebody. Other
Yeah.
Biharis are there. So I always feel that if I can do something for the people at the ground who has given me, and again, this learning came from Mr. A.M. Naik. He always goes back. So he says Janam Bhumi, Karam Bhumi, and Janam, Karm, or Matri. So he does not for his Janmabhoomi. So I always feel if I can do something. So I am part of Startup Bihar. I contribute whatever I can, because whatever I can give, I can mentor people. I can train people. I can give them the job. These are only things I can do. So I try to do that. That's the only thing. Otherwise, I have some good network of friends. I spend time with them. Nothing much in my life. No much excitement. Only community.
I think the work is already so much exciting. It's always on industry.
Because
So
wherever you sit, people will ask you, कि Anil Ambani में क्या हुआ, EM ने क्या किया. So you have so much of gossip. I met with Mr.
yeah, yeah,
Anil Agarwala. So what did he say? So, like the world wants to know because that is one area, corporate boardroom, which is like
yeah,
hidden from the whole world. And luckily, I have been part of that crisis of the boardroom. So lots of gossips are there. Friends wants to know that what's happening. And today also, when I'm handling so many corporates, there's so many things to learn. So it takes your time. And it's something which I enjoy. It's not something which I don't like it.
yes, yes. Okay, so I think it's been an interesting experience knowing about your journey, and thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your experiences and learning with us.
Thank you, Ritika. Thanks a lot. And it was nice talking to you. Thank you.